7:09 p.m. It is now time to call for a motion regarding the grievance of Mr. Is there a motion regarding the grievance?
Mr. President, I move that the board deny the level 3 grievance to Mr. Fletcher to withdraw his resignation effective at the end of the school year. However, we strongly encourage Mr. Fletcher to apply for employment with the district for the 2018-19 school year for any positions for which he is qualified.
So there's the motion has been read. Second. Motion by Mr. Althea, second by Dr. Langley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. All right, move on to action items, business and finance. Mr. Colvin.
We put out an RFQ, a request for qualification to get qualified respondents, and upon we've received three responses to our RFQ. With that, we have ranked the NA company as most qualified respondent that we received for the purposes of the design, build, construction of the agri-science facility, and as our recommendation that we explore contracting with the NA company and allowing the superintendent to execute all documents necessary thereof.
What was that, the score?
It's a matrix.
Yes.
It's a matrix required.
I know we got that today.
That is correct. I do have turn the volume down just a little bit. I'm sorry, unless you have to have it up for the camera, that's fine. Yeah. Again, we had three very qualified companies. It was pretty close at the end of the day. Looking at technical ability, looking at quality and cost containment, prior relationship with the district. We felt very confident that the NA company could work with the architect chosen by the district previously, which is Mr. Motla, to deliver this project for us.
I have a question. I know currently we're using a NA company for the maintenance facility. How's that going so far?
It's going real well. We're at the stage of waiting on the steel. They've done, I would say, probably at least 50% of the site work. So at this point, we're just waiting on the documents, the structural documents, and the steel to come in. After that, it should be going real quick, but we're just waiting on the steel.
Been no issues so far?
No, sir. No.
Okay, trustees, at this time you have before you the possible action to approve the design build contractor for agri-science facility and authorize the superintendent to execute the necessary documents thereof.
I make a motion that we approve the design build contractor for the facility and authorize the superintendent to execute the necessary documents thereof. And I would like to include that we go ahead and name that facility the Ron Appleton Agri-Science Facility.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor. Second by Mr. Schoolfield. Any questions or discussion on that? The agri-science facility. All right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Number 2, update on the 2015 bond.
So board, tonight just wanted to give you an update on where we are with the 2015 bond. This is one of the main projects that majority of you served in some capacity or have had the privilege of overseeing for the last couple of years, so we just kind of wanted to give you an update as we go forward. The bond itself was more than just a new high school facility, and so one of those components was Turner Pre-Kindergarten Academy, was some renovations to the Turner building. The original budget for that was about $1 million. That's what was advertised when we originally were looking at the bond itself and calling for the bond before election time. Upon receiving the information from the contractor as to what was really needed at that building, it was a little under $890,000. To date, we spent $883,000 over at Turner, just from bond funds, and then all funds combined, we spent about $1.3 million over at Turner with some grant funds that we've had from the state and also some local funds that we've made some improvements over at that campus as well. At this point, we've put in a fire suppression system, we've renovated classroom spaces, we've put in some playground equipment that you can see here with a turf field and a digital signage for the campus. Over the course of the summer, we will be getting some more furniture for the campus as the rest of the campus transitions from the Challenge Academy School of Choice into full-day pre-K next year across the entire building. A second project was Finley Junior High, and the original budget that we were talking about was about $800,000. The revised bond budget is at $1.2 million, and to date we've spent $1.3 million over there. Again, this is with bond expenditures and looking at some of the additional ways that we could make some improvements on that campus as we got into it. So today we've renovated front office and front entry areas, providing more security with the front entry solutions. We've beautified the front of the building. We've constructed a running track and athletic field. We've installed some digital signage, and we've installed counter seating and charging stations outside of the 100 hall. So just various projects that we've done over at Finley to liven up the appearance of that campus and to make it more functional for students and staff. At Waxahachie High School, this is the main component of the $125 million of bonds. The original budget being touted was $117.2. To date, it's $117.6 million. We have issued checks for $94 million as of me doing this PowerPoint, which was about 4 days ago. We've completed about almost $98 million of the project at that point, and we're holding about $4 million in retainage on the various contracts. There are about 70 contractors. We're holding about $4 million in retainage on this project at this point. Fun facts that you can share at your next outing, and people will glaze over. Building was dedicated on April 28th. There are multiple areas of the building that are named for former educators. There's 304 change orders that have been issued to date. As I previously said, there are over 70 vendors participating in the construction and outfitting of this building. Furniture is scheduled to actually arrive right now. The bulk of it will be coming in the middle of May, and we will have limited occupancy over there of administrative areas for the most part, about June 11th, and then I'm not revealing a date of when our teachers will be allowed over there, but Dr. Benskin will let them know as that date gets closer. And then Coleman Junior High, as we start vacating the current high school and transitioning it into a junior high, you'll see significant improvements or renovations happening in the back of the building in the current Billy Bates Center. So original budget for that was about $5 million. To date, we've spent $1.7. That's on electric service panel replacements, HVAC replacements, energy management controls, some exterior painting and renovation work, some athletic improvements and rebranding, and then the architect fees. Listed on this slide, it really is everything that we have a known expenditure or contract for expenditure for Coleman Junior High. So we're working right now to get an estimate on exactly what it's going to take to renovate the back space, and as we get that, we will definitely let you know where we stand in relation to the budget on that. So all that was it on the bond update. And then my last item are to approve two quotes for furniture. And the first quote is for phase 2 of Wildman Library furniture, and that total with Lone Star Furnishings is $49,758.46. Originally, this quote was over 50,000, which is why it was included on your agenda, but now that it's under 50, wanted to let you know that we've made some pairings and some cost savings on that project. And then also phase 4 of the furniture at the high school project with school specialty in the amount of $408,056.62. So we ask for your approval of those 2 expenditures tonight.
Okay, so trustees, you have before you the consideration and possible action to approve quote from Lone Star Furniture for the phase 2 furnishing for Wildman Elementary Library and phase 4 for the new high school furniture. Moved by Mr. McCutcheon. Second by Mr. Fox. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Board.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Colvin. Curriculum and academics. Ms. Blaylock.
Trustees, if you'll remember about, I'm going to say 2 months ago, we brought up the topic of DEC Local. That is the buyback a days program for our teachers that have been with the district 15 years that are retiring. You asked us at the time to take that back to our district advisory team, which Ms. Blaylock did this past week.
Yes,
and
sir.
and she has a report on their recommendation.
Thank you, Dr. Glenn. We did have the privilege of meeting with our district advisory team, which I feel is a good cross-section of our community, both with representation of parents, community members, and staff. 18 of those members were in our presence that day, 15 of which were employees. So considering that this is an employee-driven policy, I think it's very valid that they were eager to come and give their thoughts on it. They much appreciated you asking for their input. So consensus of that discussion, as you remember, this policy we expanded to all employees previously that are taking voluntary retirement, that they would have to give 6 months advance notice, that it's currently set at 5 years, and that the discussion is a revision to change that to looking at the 95% attendance rate in the final year of retirement. Consensus from this committee was that as teachers and staff members, irrelevant of your position, that it is very critical for the students to make success for all employees to be in their positions and in their building through the end of the school year. They expressed concern and certain situations that they had experienced where an employee had not done that and talked about how detrimental that was to student success and putting a burden on other employees in the building. So their hesitation was to say, they do not want a policy that sets us up for an opportunity for that to become a hardship on students and their ability to learn or the campus. So their recommendation considering that is that they think that the policy is acceptable the way it is, even written at 5 years. They said that they could see it being reduced to as much as 3, but their recommendation would be not to see it less than that. They also feel strongly that we need to do a better job as a district in providing giving training on FMLA and when to use it, that the span of time that we had set for this policy being 5 years, that we're almost out of the duration of that, and so soon we will have employees who have been informed and knowledgeable of that throughout that process. Mr. Calden and I both committed to that committee that we will ensure that higher quality, better, and more thorough training is provided next year as a part of in-service so that they truly understand when they could and should be using FMLA, including training our administrators, because that's usually their first line of defense is their administrator, and if their administrator is not comfortable saying, hey, this is a better absence under FMLA and it would qualify, then they're not getting that information from anywhere. So we want to make sure that we're doing a better job of that. And they also feel that the district needs to look at providing an attendance incentive for employees so that we can continue to increase our attendance on campuses in all places, and that they felt like that the attendance incentive that had been done with bus drivers this year, as that was reported to them, had been effective, and that if possible, when I asked what type of incentive would be valuable to you, of course the consensus was some type of monetary, although they felt, Mr. Malik, was it $150 for the bus drivers this year? So they felt like that was a worthwhile incentive for someone. So overall, they feel that the policy that you have written currently is fair and that it is in looking at what is in the best interest of students.
They give you any idea about the monetary figures
Ryan, do you remember? I don't remember them really visiting about that.
There really wasn't a whole lot of talk about a specific stipend for that, but as Shelley was saying, they were not wowed or they were not discouraged by what the bus drivers were receiving, and most of them thought that was really a reasonable and fair sum and structure for that program.
$50 a semester?
Up to about $150 a semester for those with the best of
Perfect.
attendance. Yes, sir.
And they did agree that when we'd done the CAR in previous years, that many of us were on campuses at that time and saw that once an employee was far out of reach of that and no longer qualified, that then you saw attendance rates going down. And so although it was a good carrot to begin with, once it was not reachable for you any longer, that didn't help you stay at work. So they would like to see some type of graduated plan like the bus drivers have that keep you in the game for longer so that it's worthwhile. You're welcome.
Trustees, you have the ability tonight to take action on this. If we want to go with the DAT committee recommendation, moving it from 5 years to 3 years, beginning with 18-19 school year, if you'd like to table it for further discussion, we can certainly do that as well.
So they're okay with it, but they don't mind moving it to 3 years. I mean,
Yeah.
they're okay with the 95% over each year for 5 years, but they're not opposed to supporting the policy for the 3-year, right? Is that what I'm reading here?
Yes, sir, that's correct. And so even as a follow-up, I said, let me make sure I understand you clearly. You're saying that you're comfortable with 5 years, you're comfortable with 4, you're comfortable with 3, but you do not think that 2 or 1 year review would be good for the employee or students? And their answer was yes, and that was collective response. So 3, 4, or 5 years they felt would still be in the best interest of students. 1 or 2 they had concern with, and they most definitely understood that they were just an advisory board for your committee, and that you may still choose to go with 1, but that they had a different opinion.
For those who may not know, discuss the demographics of the district advisory committee.
This committee is by state mandate an advisory board for the school board, and it does consist of representation from every campus that typically is selected by the campus administrator or encouraged to be attended by them. Sometimes those employees or parents, committee members have asked to be on it. They go through a rotation cycle, so they are on 2-year terms on the DAT committee, and then we roll them on and off every campus at different stages. So every 2 years they're off and on. This representation had 1 grandparent, 1 community member, and several paraprofessionals, employees of different levels of all representation in that 18 of the subcommittee that chose to attend that day. So our typical DAT committee consists of about a little over 40 individuals that are a part of that committee.
Okay, trustees, you have this,
Mr. President, I'd like to suggest, in fact, I'll make a motion that we've laid out on other things we've been talking about. I'd like to have more consideration and discussion on this. I move that we postpone action to no later than the July regular board meeting.
okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Dr. Langley. Is there a second?
I'll second that, and I'll say why. Because I would like to see, when you're dealing with teachers, I want to see a plan in place of how we're going to talk to these people about their FMLA, so we don't let stuff fall through the cracks. And that's happened, not intentionally, I don't think, but it's going to protect people, which is the whole reasoning for the change.
All right, any other discussion?
Fair enough.
All right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye to postpone
No later than
to no later than the January meeting.
July.
I'm sorry, golly, July. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. All right.
Thank you.
Ms. Blaylock.
Mr. Schofield, and is the expectation that Mr. Calden and I will research information for you related to
That is
the
correct.
delay and bring it back to you between now and then?
Yeah, and I think what he's asking for is not necessarily information about FMLA, but a plan, how we're going to make sure that, exactly.
Okay.
How are you going to convey that to the staff? Okay, facilities and operations, Mr. Mealy.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Everybody's doing well. That's very interesting. Okay, the first thing tonight is consideration and possible action to approve bids for the sub-varsity stands at the new Waxahachie High School. I apologize, it's very hard to see what I'm trying to display here. But on either side of the new sub-varsity field, which is the big field with the field goals that have been up for the past 6 months, we have a concrete pad site there. And this is just like Mansfield, if you've been to a game in Mansfield, not their big stadium, Robbie, whatever that stadium's called. Thank you. But the smaller stadiums that each school has. And this is for approximately 1,400 stands, as well as, or 1,400 person stands, about 1,420 to be exact, as well as a press box on the home side. And the home side would be the western side of that field. And the quote is from Sturdy Steel for $177,569 for stands in the press box. And that's an installation cost of $40,034. So that'll be a total of $217,603 for the installation of those stands and press box at the new sub-varsity stadium out at the at the new Waxahachie High School. With that, I'll answer any questions you may have about this subject.
Mr. Mealy, I'm assuming these are going to be ADA compliant?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think in your packet, there's a layout of the bleacher layout. It kind of demonstrates ADA, where those ADA seats will be, as well as if you look, which would wind up being on the south side of the stands, there's the American with Disabilities Act ramp that we provide that access to.
This is within the scope of the adopted budget for the high school?
Yes, sir.
How many seats you say they'd be in all?
1,420 on both. There's about 710 on either side.
And these are elevated
Yes, sir.
stands?
Yes.
All right, so we have before you consideration and possible action to approve bids for the sub-varsity stands at the new Waxahachie High School. Moved by Mr. Fox, second. Second by Mr. Autry. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Next thing on the agenda is the request for proposal for the land use planner, and that would be to go out here May 8th if approved. And this is going back to what we talked about with the city when we had the joint workshop between the city and the school district, the school board. We have 300 acres there. We're using approximately 100 right now, 110 for the building site. We'd like to go solicit RFP for land use planners, similar to what happened at North Grove, to determine highest and best use of the land that's remaining in that area. So a couple of exhibits that we've provided with this RFP is kind of the layout of the backing drive, the two backing drives on the north side and the south side of Business 287, as well as the north-south road on throughout the kind of the eastern edge of our property. We've also provided this. This is the city's infrastructure along with the school district's building site. You see some other residential that's being platted right there. Both of those are preliminary platted to the east of the Waxahachie school site. And this is what we would sit down with them and explore the land use planner. And then after we've selected a land use planner, we would come back and do what's called a charrette. We would sit around with the city, with the school district. What are our plans? What do we see here? What does the city see here? And try to come up with an overall schematic of this area of the 310 acres and move forward with the planning and zoning of this area. So with that, I'll answer any questions related to this subject. Yeah, and this will be the basis of the plan development. We already have a plan development on the 300 acres. This will just better refine it.
All right, so you have before you the consideration possible action to request the RFP for a land planner to program the district land around the Waxahachie High School.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Autry, second by Mr. McCutcheon. Any questions or further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Mealy. At this time, we'll move into closed session. I have the time of 11:34 p.m. and we'll move into closed session under section 551.001 et sec. Okay, we'll reconvene into open session. I have a time at 12:05 a.m. We'll move to our human resource report. Mr. Waxahachie.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is after midnight, so I will try to expedite this report. You have the report presented to you by your superintendent. There are, I believe, 7 new hires. There are several resignations at this time of the year. That is very common. Happy to report we're not I'm recommending any terminations this year, and I've got 2 hires just want to highlight briefly. Jamila Thomas coming to us as assistant principal. She's actually a sitting principal right now in Greenville ISD. She's worked with Lisa Mott, and we're very excited to have her. And Ryan Cavazos has been hanging out with us for 6 hours tonight. And Ryan Cavazos said during his interview, and I completely agree with him, that he learned in his doctoral program that your greatest interview is your performance in your current job. And he's done a fantastic job as our principal at Challenge Academy and High School of Choice. I mean, he truly takes on the opportunities there at that campus. He's done a fantastic job over there. He's a great leader, and we're excited to welcome him to Howard Junior High as our principal at Howard Junior High. Please, I urge the board to approve the personnel report as recommended to you by your superintendent.
Okay, trustees, you have before you the consideration to approve the personnel report as recommended by the superintendent and includes appointments, retirements, resignations, terminations, and position changes. Moved by Mr. Fox, second by Mr. Autry. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Congratulations, Mr. Cavazos.
And Ms. Blaylock, also as we were discussing, but I know you are on the path of all the other in rezoning.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
think you could put that like in a PDF or Word document?
Yes, sir.
And send it out to the trustees, and then maybe we'll do a presentation at our May 12th meeting?
Yes, sir, I can absolutely do that.
And can you tell us when we're doing the lottery for Wildman?
We have started that process. We will start pulling in the next 2 days. We are just finalizing a little difference between Skyward. We were going to start this morning, but the match, there's still a couple of kids. There are still several kids that are showing up in Skyward that are not going to be at Wildman, as well as some other campuses. So we're finalizing that, just make sure we're clear, and then we'll start pulling.
Do you think by the first part of June we'll be able to notify families if they've gotten in?
Oh, we are planning to notify them in the next, definitely 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we want to secure those spots and get confirmation back from them, so then we'll make sure that we know exactly how many seats are going there, because it directly impacts other elementary campuses. So our goal in Ms. Mott and working with Ms. Authier is for us to go ahead and notify as many families as we can. And then if we find any that do not want it, we can continue giving those seats out as families come up next in the lottery.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Blaylock.
You're welcome.
Your report, sir.
Did we do the, oh, thank you very much. All right, too late in the evening. All right, at this time, I just wanted to review with the outgoing trustees. Just briefly, I wanted to touch on the 2014 long-range plan. You'll find it in your packet on page 143. So the long-range planning committee in 2014 made a recommendation to trustees. They had 5 goals with that. The first was to have a full-day pre-kindergarten program. Originally we talked about it on every campus. Obviously, from a facility standpoint, we may be able to get there as a long-term goal, but we will be fulfilling that next year when we open the Turner Pre-Kindergarten Academy. Secondly, they talked about the addition of a dual language academy and a STEAM academy. Obviously, the last couple of years we've had dual language at Wedgeworth and at Dunaway, and we'll be opening Wildman in 2018 as well. The third recommendation was for a school resource officer or a district police department. The board decided to go with the school resource officer option, which It's been a successful program partnering with Waxahachie Police Department, and then the second part of that was a drug and alcohol testing program which we implemented this year, and I think it's been fairly successful and something we can build on. And then finally, it was to approve a bond or ask for a bond in the amount of $125,000. That money would be, I'm sorry, million. Yeah, couldn't do much with thousand. That money would be used for a new Waxahachie High School, renovations at Finley, renovations at Turner, and renovations at Wildman, and also the move for Global High School, which we were able to successfully do. And then the final recommendation was the purchase of the existing land, which tonight y'all approved for a land developer to look at for the district. So just wanted, as three trustees step off the board, want to just congratulate you for your good work and let you know that by August of 2018, we will have successfully completed the long-range planning committee goals from the 2014 recommendation. So, and I'll answer any questions you have about that at this time. All right. Next item on the agenda is we'd like to ask your consideration for approval of salary increases for our professional staff, paraprofessional staff, administrative staff, as well as the Christmas bonuses, which will be considered as part of salary, as part of the teachers and paraprofessional salary package. That information is located on page 146 of your packet.
Okay, trustees, so you have that item 2 before you, consideration of action to approve the salary increases.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Fox.
Second.
Second by Mr. Autry. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, board. Appreciate you working hard for allowing us to recruit and retain good staff. I'll ask Mr. Obenshine if you would send out that good news to our staff tomorrow, and Ms. Bridges, if you would get the information up on our district website. The final item of the evening is just to let you know that we will be canvassing our election results tomorrow morning at 7:30, or this morning at 7:30 a.m. And we will have our next regular meeting Monday night, June 12th. That is when we'll swear in our 3 new trustees who are with us tonight, Mr. Rogers, Ms. Kriegel, and Ms. Starnader. Appreciate y'all staying with us late. We do not meet this late all the time, so that's good news. And then would also like to make everyone aware, especially our new trustees, of the upcoming meetings. Then I'll get you that information on Wednesday because I know you don't have it in hand. But June 11th will be our regular June meeting. Monday, June 25th will be a called meeting and workshop. July 9th. July 23rd, August 6th, and then August 27th, we'll adopt the budget and the tax rate. So we'll have 2 meetings a month all summer. We'll also do our budget workshops will be incorporated into all those meetings. Well, you do have one you do have one in May, Monday night. Is that the 12th or 14th?
14th.
May 14th. So my apologies.
Yeah.
May 14th, Monday night, a week from yesterday. Yeah, we can swear you in advance. We'll canvass tomorrow morning, and typically at the orientation, which is Wednesday, we'll go ahead and do a swear-in. But we will do a formal swearing-in next Monday. So if you want to dress up, that's when we'll take pictures for the paper. And traditionally, trustees have taken pictures with their family. So if you want to do that as well. Yes, ma'am. We'll provide you with agenda packets. So I don't expect a whole lot on that agenda, but it'll mainly be an opportunity for y'all to get with the other board members and catch up on some of the business that we've had over the last few months.
Anything else for Dr. Quinn? All right, at this time, I just want to, it's been a long night. I want to thank the staff. I want to thank all of you in attendance this evening. I want to thank Mr. Authier for your service, Mr. Fox for your service, and, yes, sir? Okay. Enjoyed our time, and now time to turn the lights off. You want something to say?
There's not many people left here, but we want you to know that I was here 9 years, and I promise you, every single day, I put everything I could into it. And I appreciate everything. Couldn't have done it without them, and, my kids, never Justin, they always been there, helping, doing everything that they can. My wife, if I'm there, she's there. And I think that's what it's supposed to be. But I enjoy it.
All right, at this time, I will entertain it, unless Mr. Offier, are you good? Okay.
I think we ought to let the two, go on out of here and make the motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second. So moved by Mr. Fox, second by Mr. Offier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. We're now adjourned.
Thank you, board.
12:16.